What's going on, everyone? LA Sports back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be going over Dave Gettleman, as this guy should be fired. Dave Gettleman should have been fired a long time ago. And I as a fan, I like to support, what's on the team and what they're doing, because, at the end of the day, if you're a fan that's upset all the time, then, I don't know what type of fan you are. If you're constantly hoping that your team loses because you want to be right and that the GM can be wrong, then you're not really a fan. And at the end of the day, I just wanted Dave Gettleman to, I wanted the decisions he made to end up paying off, and at the end of the day, they just haven't. It sucks, but, at the end of the day, the Giants are, right now, they don't have a choice but to fire Dave Gettleman. I don't care if they close out the season 7-0. Dave Gettleman's got to go. It's the bottom line, plain and simple. He needs to go, and I think he's going to go. Whether that means he's going to get fired or he's going to quote-unquote retire, because that's a big Dave Gettleman thing to do. The guy's old, and quite frankly, I don't know who in their right mind would hire the guy if he gets fired, when he gets fired, or when he leaves. But at the end of the day, whether it's now or by the second week of January at the latest, Dave Gettleman's going to be gone. Whether he's in his retirement or he's looking for another job on the market, I don't know, and I don't really care, as long as he's not the general manager of the New York Giants and not making the draft picks we have, because they are going to be very valuable. And that brings me to my next point. A guy that I want really badly as the New York Giants GM is a guy that a lot of New York Giants, they either love him or they hate him. There's no in between, and I love him. That's Louis Riddick. He's the Monday Night Football analyst on ESPN. He's on a lot of their shows. He's a smart guy, in my opinion. Everyone makes mistakes, and he said he would have drafted Isaiah Simmons instead of Andrew Thomas, and he said he would have drafted Haskins instead of Jones. At the end of the day, Isaiah Simmons isn't a bad player. He just, he isn't what the Giants needed at that point. They needed Thomas. And, even if if Louis Riddick came here, I think he would make the right decision. He knows right now the Giants need an offensive line. He's talked in podcasts, on live TV, and he's continuously said every time he's, talking about the New York Giants, he talks about that offensive line and that they need to start building the offensive line so that their next quarterback, if it's not Daniel Jones, can come into a better situation than Jones came into. Jordan Renan had a podcast with Louis Riddick right before the Monday Night Football game against the Chiefs. That was a game where the Giants were coming in off a win. A lot of people said we have a shot to win. We did have a shot late in the game. It was a close game at the end of the day. It was 20-17. And he asked Louis Riddick about the Giants and his thoughts, about potentially being a GM there. And he said, if the right situation is presented to him, he'll leave ESPN. And that clearly means that he would be interested in the Giants head coaching job. He had an interview with the Giants GM situation when Dave Gettleman got hired. So I think if the Giants go from outside the organization, I definitely think that Louis Riddick is a target, and I hope he ends up the general manager of the Giants. He knows that the offensive line needs to be fixed, and it sounds like he wants to, it sounds like he wants to do what I want to do. Set Jones up with a good offensive line. He has his weapons, and see if he can succeed. If he can't succeed, he's not the guy. But if he can, then I'm not saying you sign him to, you definitely play him on the fifth year. That's no doubt. But then you consider giving him the big contract. So I think Louis Riddick is a smart guy, and I would like him as the New York Giants GM. I realize, though, that John Mara and the Tisch family is Steve Tisch. They're terrible owners, and they might bring a guy like Kevin Abrams in from inside the organization. They might say, "Hey, listen, unfortunately, we're going to hire you as the GM, but you can't make any decisions. Daniel Jones has to stay. Joe Judge has to stay. Saquon has to stay. He might force things on him. I hope he doesn't, because at the end of the day, the owner is the owner, not the GM, for a reason. And if you want to be the GM, then be the GM like Jerry Jones is in Dallas. I don't like that, especially from John Mara, because he's a disgrace to our franchise right now. He's been brutal lately for years, but I want Louis Riddick, and if it's not Louis Riddick, I definitely want someone from outside the organization, and that's that there. But you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments section, what you think about Louis Riddick, what you think about Dave Gettleman. The guy's got to be fired. He's going to be canned, whether he's going to be gone at some point. But you guys let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section, and please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. If you guys are new, I appreciate everyone's support, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Let's go, Giants.